Well, tonight, families are trying to salvage what they can after a chimney fire caused $900,000 in damages to an apartment complex on the north side.
There goes my stuff. There goes everything we own.
Tonight, Eyewitness News reporter Roxie Bustamante spoke with a resident who's grateful she and her family weren't hurt.
My daughter came up and she's like, get out, there's a fire.
Within minutes, Kimberly Smith and her family were rushing out of their apartment building as flames spread from one unit to the next.
Like nothing I've seen. There was actually flames shooting up out of it, and you could just see the wind carrying the smoke through the roof.
It took about an hour for crews to put out the 2-alarm fire. 14 residents, including Smith's 2 grandchildren, made it out just in time.
There was one lady that was still asleep after the flames were shooting. So we were lucky to find her and get her out.
4 apartments destroyed, several more damaged, and 1 cat still missing.
It looks horrible. It looks ransacked. There's no ceilings.
Her family was able to salvage some of their clothes and cherished family photos. Management placed the residents and other units at the apartment complex until they figure out what to do next.
Lucky to be alive. I have a lot of faith in God, and He'll get us through it.
Roxie Bustamante.
We'll get through it.
KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
Investigators say the cause of that fire was accidental. The fire department is reminding people to clean their chimneys and replace batteries in their smoke detectors.